Today we're going to be talking about a new study that challenges conventional wisdom about protein intake and muscle growth. Hit subscribe for more science-based fat loss and muscle building content. You've probably heard that eating more protein can help you build bigger and stronger muscles. This is true, more being a relative term. You just need to eat enough. Now, there's a lot of contention at the moment about how much we should be eating and how frequently we should be having these boluses of protein. How much protein do we actually need, and is there a limit to how much your bodies can actually use in a given sitting? Now, according to a study published in Cell Reports Medicine, the answer is there is a limit. However, I have some issues with this study. The main point being that people interpret it as there being no limit. I think there is a limit at which diminishing returns can occur. So for me, I understand my appetite permits up to an absolute maximum 300 grams of protein per day. And that's when I'm training hard. I'm, doing everything I need to build as much muscle as humanly possible. Now, to talk about the study, basically wanted to measure how different amounts of protein affect muscle protein synthesis, which is the process of creating new muscle tissue. So they recruited 24 healthy young men and asked them to perform a bout of exercise, resistance training in particular. Then they gave them either 25 grams or 100 grams of whey protein. This equates to something like 20 grams of protein and about 70 to 80 grams of protein in that whey protein. This is a common supplement for athletes and bodybuilders. The researchers actually infused each of these protein amounts with 4 different isotopes, which are variants of atoms that can be traced in the body. So they're able to track how the protein was absorbed, metabolized, and incorporated into new muscle tissue. They found that the ingestion of 100 grams resulted in a greater and more prolonged increase of plasma amino acid availability, which are the building blocks of muscle tissue and protein. This also resulted in an increase in muscle protein synthesis rates compared to the 25 gram amount. They also found that the large bolus of protein improved net nitrogen balance and therefore decreased muscle protein breakdown. Interestingly, they actually noticed an increase of different types of muscle proteins, so myofibrillar, connective, and plasma proteins. Now, this bit surprised me in particular. I was not expecting this at all. They found it had a negligible impact on protein breakdown and amino acid oxidation, which means that the excess amino acids were not transmuted into form of energy or glucose, but rather they're actually stored in the muscle for future use. Now, typical bro wisdom kind of explains that, we need 4 or 5 servings of protein a day, hit that muscle protein synthesis response, and it goes up in a wave fashion. But now, with my previous belief, which was not this, it turns out we can actually just create a larger spike in muscle protein synthesis, and that will in turn last longer. So what seems to be apparent to me is that the net intake of protein is a much more significant impactor of muscle gain than the amount of frequency of protein we're having. There is also some suggestion that 20 to 25 grams of protein per meal might actually be too low. It might be that it's not enough for someone to hit that anabolic response. So what we understand about the anabolic response is that we need a certain amount of leucine in order to trigger muscle protein synthesis. Now, for most people, that's about 3 grams. I believe that translates to something like 0.5 grams of protein in the form of leucine specifically per kilogram of lean muscle mass. Now, this is just my estimate, but for me, it results in about 15 to 20 grams of leucine in total per day to maximize my muscle building potential. Of course, we know we can't build muscle tissue without the essential amino acids in the bloodstream at a given time. One key point here is that the optimal amount of protein may vary depending on your age, activity levels, goals, and preferences. So you can't just look at this study and think, therefore I need to have 100 grams of protein 5 times per day. Chances are you don't, unless you're maybe Eddie Hall, in which case you're probably just better served eating more fat or changing your career or hobbies. 500 grams of protein a day is going to be a lot for most people to eat. What I suggest to most people, particularly those that follow a carnivorous diet, is just eat satiety. If you provide your body with the stimulus needed to adapt your hunger signals over time, eventually, given time, you'll actually be able to eat more protein and therefore gain more muscle mass. But I will speculate that this will not be a plus 5 grams every week kind of thing. It might be plus 5 grams every 6 to 12 months. Your muscle mass is not going to increase significantly over weeks and months. It's going to take years to develop and build significant amounts of muscle tissue. So what do you think of this study? Do you eat enough protein to support your muscle growth? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more future videos. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.